And I get pushed and pulled till my mind's bruised and mangled. I get it from all angles. And this is breathing, this is not sleeping. This is an excuse I disguise as a reason. My pen rips through paper onto pillows and sheets till there's a puddle of ink and sweat where I used to sleep. I used to breathe, I used to drool and dream about stages and starlight bars and changing leaves. Opuses and oceans, porches and skies, moonlit ripples through dark brown eyes. I used to dream about a world where color and sound blended like shadows underwater through a cracked camera lens. Remember blown out speakers, grass stained jeans, backyard stages and driveway dreams. Running home in rainstorm steam from the hot streets, high on the playground, sweating in back seats and sleeping through class. Atlantic setting suns, up all night watching movies about people in suits with guns, listening to Jay-Z, going stir crazy, making probablys out of possiblies and maybes. But now it's the last minute of a last minute masterpiece. Everyone's tragic, we're all disasters, and the world is a mistake. We're all waiting to make us, hurling through space, spinning can be too much to take, so we pretend life's a movie. We can rewind and edit, so we're scrapping and scrambling to get our names in the credits. Cause we didn't grow up on the streets, we grew up on the beats. We grew up, kill rock stars and fuck the police. We wanna bang every drum, climb every tree, rip the world down the center, hold both halves and squeeze till the marrow drips molten. The moment is upon us, we'll pass that glass around and drink what we were promised. We were born in a drought, the rain is what we need. Put your knuckles in the sky and pound the clouds until they bleed.
I mean, what is this? Ninjas, drug pushers, my men being kidnapped and murdered? This is really beginning to get on my tits.
Well, hello. Hello, everybody. Yep, it's just me tonight. Just me. But I think that's for the best. I really do. I think it's for the best because I'm planning on sounding real salty tonight. And I'm feeling a couple of ways. So I'm just gonna, you know what? I'm gonna take precautionary measures. Precautionary measures to try to ensure that my saltiness has a counterbalance. And that counterbalance is probably going to be some nice, slick jazz. I don't know if y'all will be able to hear it as well as, I can in my head. Well, my earphone's not my head. I ain't gone off the deep end just yet. It's close, though. We're getting there. Let's see. Let's get it set up. There we go. Let's try to put a little bit of chill on this. Just a tad bit. Just a tad bit of chill. So, what am I going to be talking about tonight? What I'm going to be talking about tonight is the Xbox One. The Xbox One and just how big of a piece of shit it is. And don't get this wrong. Don't get it twisted. This isn't about, is Xbox better than PS4, or are both of them inferior to the PC Master Race? It's not about that. We're just looking at Xbox as a console by itself. Well, the Xbox One. Let me be very specific. The Xbox One as a console by itself. So we're going to start out this journey through Rage with a story. And I'm not going to name names because I know I ain't trying to throw shade at nobody. I ain't trying to throw, salt at nobody. And as you tell, this story is years old now, but it's important. It's important. There's an important lesson in here. So I guess let's go ahead and, well, first let me check. Is the music too loud? I don't want the music to be too loud. I want you to hear every bit of rage and anger that I have. I don't know. But if the music ever gets too loud, let me know. I think it's just right because you probably don't want to hear what I'm going to be raging about tonight anyway. This is more for me. I'm not going to lie. This is more for me because I've harbored some feelings on this topic for quite a long time now. And I feel like it's time to just let them go. So I'm hoping that I'll get out everything I have now and I can move on to the rest of well, to hating the rest of gaming. Not okay, not hating the rest of gaming, but just move past this. So let's go back a few years. So a few years ago, Xbox One drops, PlayStation 4 drops, and me and my boys are like, you know what? Let's get the, well, one of my boys was like, you know what? Let's get the PlayStation. And I was like, that was what I was planning to do anyway. I personally prefer PlayStation, but I own all of them because I do feel, and I've always said, that if you wanted to get the full spectrum of gaming, then you needed to be able to, how would you say, you needed to have all of the consoles. And only through having all of the consoles can you get a full picture of where gaming as an art form, as a business, and all of that, which way it's going. And so now, last gen, I had the PlayStation 3, and my friend who I was living with at the time had an Xbox 360, so I didn't need to, I didn't need to buy the Xbox. I already had one in the house, so that's all I'm gonna say on that. Now, let's say last gen, Xbox 360. Thank you, Kent, for showing up. I appreciate you. How you doing, my guy? Last gen, Xbox 360 destroyed. Like, for real, PlayStation wasn't even really in the picture. And that's just being honest. It really wasn't, because they had tried to go for this whole, we're trying to be more than just a gaming console. We want to be a media center. We want to be all this, blah, blah, blah. Now, fast forward to today, that's the same mistake that Xbox made this gen. If you notice, they almost completely flipped. Xbox came out introducing the Xbox One as a media center, the one box that you need in your household. You can control everything through it, and hell, we even got a football package for you football fans, and we have a deal with the NFL, and for some reason there's a car on the stage at a gaming show. They tried all this stuff, and they failed the same way PlayStation did last gen, because they were trying to do too much and they weren't focusing on what was important: games. And when it comes down to it, like I said, they flip-flop. This gen, I believe that in my life, of all the consoles that I have bought, in my life, Xbox One is the worst console I have ever had in my life. Never in my life have I had a console perfectly working, perfectly fine. Never have I had a console that has spent more time on the floor next to a cabinet doing nothing than I have with this console. So let me take you through the story. I started out saying I was going to tell you a story, because the story really does set up the level of rage where it puts me into perspective. And putting me into perspective is something that needs to be done every now and again. Recalibrate yourself for what is me. So basically, as I was saying, me and my friend were like, you know what? We're going to go get a PlayStation. And I was like, yeah, I like what it looks like they're going to be doing this next gen. I feel like it's the smarter choice. And at the time, I didn't have money to get both. So I was like, I'm going to start out with PlayStation, because I already know the games that they're coming with. I already know that Uncharted, because if you haven't played Uncharted 2 is the it's one of the only games I can truly say that it's a masterpiece. Let me just put it like that. It's a masterpiece. I have not played anything like it since the new Tomb Raider tried, and for the most part, it succeeded. It was a really good game, but there's nothing quite like the story, the storytelling, the action set pieces, the emotion of Uncharted 2. So I had played that, so I was like, you know what, we're gonna PlayStation. Now, a few months later, one of my friends was telling me that basically he wanted to go Xbox. And I was like, okay, I don't want to go Xbox because I'm not seeing anything that I necessarily like at this moment. But I was like, that doesn't matter. You know what? He was like, look, we're going to get Halo because at that time the Master Chief Collection was first coming out. He was like, we're going to get that Halo Master Chief Collection. We're going to try to get that Halo. I think it was 4. No, I think it was 5 that came out at this time. And he was like, yeah, we're going to get it and we're going to get everybody together. It's going to be like old times. It's going to be like old times. And you know, we're just going to play. We're going to play multiplayer. We're going to have fun. We're not going to be try-harding or sweating. We're just going to be out here enjoying what we love. Because back in the day, let me tell you, I was a Halo god. Now, I wasn't like a god with a capital G. I was like a lowercase god, you know, almost like a what do you call it? What do you call it? I don't know. I was a small deity. It's basically what it comes down to. And it came to me naturally while playing Halo 2, 3. Those were my prime years before I became old and all my dreams died. So I was like, you know what? This sounds good. This sounds real good. Get back to the basics, play with friends. Don't, block out everybody else that has a mic in the game and just focus on having fun with friends. So I was like, you know what? I'm sold. Let's do this. So I go out that day that we had that conversation. I go out and I'm like, you know what? It's time. I put the reservation down. For the Master Chief Collection. I put down all the money for the Xbox. I went and picked it up at midnight, both. And I was like, you know what? It's time. Let's get to those good times, baby. I could use some. I'm getting old. Like I said before, dreams are dying. It could be good. This could be a nice way to re-energize the old soul, the child that is being strangled inside of me. I was like, let's do this. So I go get it, download the game, and the game is busted. Let me put it like this. It was busted for about 5 months. And a matter of fact, I think it might still be busted. I'm not sure if they ever got the game running perfectly because we jumped on like 3 years later and the shit was still having trouble with its multiplayer. But so I'm sitting here having just put out basically like $550 out of pocket. And I can't even play the game that I got the damn system for. Garbage. And we're going to get into that multiplayer thing. We're going to get into these companies and their servers. Because I know when you deal with electronics, anything can go wrong. Anything. Like when you're dealing with making a game, which is complicated, and let's not diminish how hard it is to make a game. I imagine it's the same as how hard it is to make a movie. You have so many moving pieces that to actually pull off a game and have it come to fruition the way that you intended it to it takes a lot of work, and it's hard work. So let me put that out there. I'm not trying to be unreasonable, okay? Not trying to be unreasonable. But this is where I first started to fall out of love with gaming. Now, my love has been restored. But I started noticing that every game that came out, there were problems. And I'm not talking about small problems. I'm talking about game-breaking problems. And it kind of created this feeling that I'm just like, yo, I think gaming's dying. I think it might actually be dying. Now, of course, that's an overreaction, okay? Let's be real. That's an overreaction. But when a game used to be a AAA game, you were going to a AAA game because if a small game had a problem like server issues or something like that, you're like, well, 10 motherfuckers put this game together, so there's going to be some problems. All right. But when you got a AAA game, it was supposed to be you're getting the top-notch production. You're buying a complete product. And basically, the cream of the crop, this is why they make the big bucks. This is why you pay $60 for a game. That's what AAA used to stand for. It doesn't stand for that anymore. All AAA stands for now is, can we give you the minimal amount of product possible, still have you pay full price, and then get you to forgive us? And maybe we'll fix the game and give you what you said, what we told you we were going to give you day one. Now, I do see you there, Jason. Thank you for coming through. He says, I enjoyed Xbox One. I haven't had a major issue with it, but that's just me. I also have a PS4. Enjoy that too. I'm not sure how long you've been here, but as I've been stating, this isn't a PS4 versus Xbox One thing. I will get into it a little bit because I have enjoyed my PS4. I have not enjoyed a second of my Xbox One. Not a second. I'm lying. Hold on. Something just jumped into my head. You know what? We're going to get to it because it's part of this story. What's going on, Techno Blaze? Nice to have you back, man. Nice to have you back. So basically, I'm sitting here with having spent $550 out of pocket with a console that I have nothing to play. And as I was just explaining, and then hello Paula, then people started defending the game, saying y'all are just crybabies. It's a problem that they'll get sorted out. Mind you, this problem might still exist. I know that I checked back 5 months after release and the game still didn't work. It was still broken. It was still freezing up on campaign. It was still filling their multiplayer with nonsense balances like 4 people versus 1 on a team. And it wasn't because there wasn't a population playing Halo. There's always a population playing Halo. Okay? Let's just get that straight. But people started saying, you know what? Y'all are just complainers. Y'all are whiners. You know that they're going to fix the problem. They didn't. But yeah, you know they're going to fix the problem. And I'm like, that's when gaming started to become a thing of principle to me. Why didn't you just sell it if you're playing it or enjoying it? We're going to get to it. So basically, this system, I just kept it because I kept it most of all. Okay, first of all, the Dreamcast is one of the greatest consoles ever made. Hands down. Most of the things that people get credit for now, as far as gaming goes, Dreamcast was the first to do it. That system rocked, and people rocked it by downloading its games. I swear that was like the first heavily pirated system over, like, just that game got pirated out, or that system console got pirated out of existence, and it's sad. But Dreamcast is one of the greatest consoles, and I would even say, if not the greatest console ever made. It provided on so many different levels that I mean, hell, all the 2K games started there. I mean, I'm not a big sports guy, but I'm gonna tell you that 2K, it was better than Madden. But anyway, so years pass. Now, I keep my ear to the ground because, like I said, this isn't an Xbox hate-a-thon. Xbox 360 killed it until they made the same mistake PlayStation made with PlayStation 3 by trying to make their console more than just a gaming console, but instead a media center. Same reason PS3 failed. Same reason Xbox One is a piece of trash, okay? I'm sorry. You can say you enjoyed it, but I would, like, I'm not trying to diminish, okay? I'm not trying to diminish your enjoyment. But saying you enjoyed it is fine. And if you enjoyed it, good on you. Okay? I'm glad that the money spent was well for you. But the thing that I was telling, that I started the podcast out before a lot of people got here, was the fact that I believe, and have always believed, that in order that nothing is better than anything else overall, to get the full landscape of gaming, you have to own multiple systems. Now, even after all my rage over the initial step through the door with the Xbox, I was like, you know what? Something's going to come along. Something is going to come along and make this purchase worth it. Because I still had faith in Xbox. Even though they had just burned me, and even though the general culture of defense around them, people defending, spending money, and getting nothing out of it, like, even though that completely tilted me, I got tilted. I'm not gonna lie, I tilted. I was like, something's gonna come along, because there was one more game that was on my books. There was one more game that I was like, you know what? Me and my friend used to also play this game. And this is going to make this okay. Now, that's immediately me putting too much faith. That's nobody's fault. That's not Xbox. It's not who I'm about to bring up. I put too much faith in it. Okay? I put too much faith in it. But there was that, hey, there's a new Mass Effect. Now, this is years later. While that's been going on, I've been using the Xbox on a separate TV as basically for its apps. Okay, just, yeah. So, Mass Effect got announced. And I was to myself, I was like, you know what? I was like, Mass Effect, if you look at that game and you go back, even if you had a problem with Mass Effect 3, okay, and that whole debacle, I was like, if you really look at the series of Mass Effect, even with its flaws, it was revolutionary. It was the stuff that they did in the first and second game are pretty much the staples of just about every game now. So when they announced Mass Effect Andromeda, I was like, oh my God. You know what? This game could be, now I was still being safe, but I was like, it could be the greatest game ever released. And the reason I said that was because, like I said, everything that they do now was pretty much a staple, made popular, made into its staple by what the original Mass Effect series did. Kind of like Halo to first-person shooters on console. You know, it set the stage. So I was like, now it's been, 5-6 years since a Mass Effect? With that being the case, with all the stuff that's been upgraded and all the things that they can do better now, I'm like, yo, the originators have to be coming with something. I skipped Destiny 2, but I think anyone who's been to this channel will tell you, Kent, you're not going to stand for this abuse? I just saw that, dude. I'm sorry. That's funny. That's funny. So basically, I'm waiting for Mass Effect Andromeda to come out. And I'm like, you know what? This could be good. Then I see Anthem. And I'm like, oh no. And you want to know why I immediately said, oh no? I immediately said, oh no, because when I first saw Anthem, which we all know that first glimpse they gave us into the game, that was a completely fabricated, basically a completely fabricated game demo made just for E3 when they didn't even know what game they were going to be making. But without that knowledge that came later, when I saw that game, I was like, oh shit, Mass Effect is going to be garbage. Because, and the reason I said that was because when I saw that fake gameplay that they put up for Anthem, I was like, yo, that's almost what I expected the new Mass Effect to look like. But we all know, like I said, now that they had started taking the main team who made Mass Effect off of Mass Effect to make Anthem. So I was like, oh, well, Mass Effect is probably going to be garbage. But you know what? I still held on strong. I still held strong. I was like, you know what? I'm still going to give it a shot. And we all know how Andromeda came out. Now, Destiny 2, that was another game. My friend was like, hey, Destiny, you played Destiny 1, which I did for about 2 months before I became wary. Before I became wary of what Bungie was becoming. And it's not because of Activision. I hate when people try to throw up that fake-ass defense for Destiny. When they did the interview with the head of Bungie, they admitted that they were the ones that came up with the monetary establishment inside the game and the way that it was set up. And God knows there have been 3 other things people have caught them for that was not Activision. It was Bungie. Bungie because as we talked about many times on the podcast, games as service is basically them saying, let's make a game Kickstarter style. We're going to give you the most vanilla experience that you could possibly get for $60. A $60 beta, as you've also heard me coin it while, in conversations in the past. So they basically, that's a $60 beta. And with this $60 beta, we're going to see what your reaction is, and then we're going to promise you we're going to fix it. These are all the things that have happened in the last 5 years that disheartened me to gaming. Because once people saw that it worked, now everybody's trying to do it. But nobody's trying to do it right. Except. And this is where I got the most usage out of my Xbox. My friend was like, yo, I know I've led you astray, because this is the same friend asking me. And I love him to death. I do. He's like a brother to me. So if he's watching, because he could be, y'all might be familiar with him. But I'm not trying to talk shit about him because all he wanted to do was play games with a friend and get some old time feelings back because, life runs you down sometimes. So I'm not mad at him. But he was like, yo, I know we've had bad luck. I know that your patience with the Xbox is just about gone. But I want you to try one more thing for me. One more thing. And I was like, okay, let's try this one more time. He was like, try this game, Monster Hunter World. I looked at Monster Hunter World and I was like, by now I'm completely disheartened, okay? By now I'm completely No, I'm not talking about Kenny. If y'all really wanted to see a disgruntled motherfucker up here, I'll go get my boy K-Dog. You'll see what real rage looks like. But Monster Hunter World is the only game that I can think of at this moment that tried the games as service model that didn't rip off every single person that picked it up. Monster Hunter World is one of the best games of this generation. I still have yet to jump on and play Iceborne, but I'm thinking about it, and I might do it for the Xbox. I'm not sure, but I might do it. I need some time. So, basically, let's see. Monster Hunter World is great. It's great. Yeah. And okay, so Jason, if you can't see, which you can't because most of the people are on Twitch, but on Facebook, you'll see that Jason McMurtry is commenting and he says, "My wife and I have a shitload of hours in Monster Hunter World. Love it, as you should. Great game. As a Kenny's Rage is the best next to AVGN and Angry Joe." See, I find Angry Joe to be completely fake. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. Everybody has their shtick. Okay? Everybody has their thing. Like, my thing is just being real and not giving a fuck whether or not I get views. Like, I like to talk, and I like to talk about things that matter to me. Games, movies, that's about it. That's about all that matters to me. Yeah, it's just, so I play Monster Hunter World. I play it consistently with this friend. We crush over 200 hours. And every time they do an update, a free update, by the way, whenever they do an update, he always notices he always notices that PlayStation not only got the update first, but they got more free content. And they don't seem to be having the problems that Xbox's servers are having. Now, this is from then to now, because later I'm going to give a review of Gears of War 5. Okay, for those who haven't picked it up yet, I'm going to let you know, okay? So, but that's later. So we play, things go, we get a good couple months out of it. Best game of this generation, maybe of all time, is The Witcher 3. I'm going to tell you, I have it on my PC right now. I haven't played it yet. But I am a fan of CD Projekt Red, and I can't wait for Cyberpunk, which I think is probably going to be the greatest game of all time. So, but we'll see. So, with the success of Monster Hunter World, I'm like, you know what? Let me try something else. Let me try to keep playing this Xbox. So, after my friend falls away from Monster Hunter, he gets a little burnt on it. I go and I try to find more games. And this is the ultimate thing of what I'm talking about when it comes to why I can say you can enjoy games and why I'm like, you're having fun with Xbox. The problem is that I feel like you're not having fun with Xbox because of Xbox. It's not like Microsoft had, in my opinion, because of the quality of game that was given out this gen, Xbox to me has no exclusives. None. I know people are going to say, but they got a Halo. They got Gears of War, blah, blah, blah. Now, the new Gears of War, this is not part of the statement I'm about to make. Those games were so shit that if you had played it on PlayStation, you would not have had any difference of an experience. The only difference in experience you would have is that you'd be playing more games because there are actual exclusives on PlayStation. And most of them this gen have been cream of the crop. And I mean, everybody has accepted that their exclusives are insane. While Microsoft put out a tired-ass Gears of War 4, which even the content creators of YouTube got tired of within a month. And those are hardcore people playing a game that they hardcore love. But they got tired of it in a month and moved on. Halo, I'm not sure. It doesn't matter because it still wasn't great as a Halo. But I think it's one of the lowest rated Halos. What was it? Halo 5? Yeah, I think it was Halo 5. So, and, Jason, I'm getting there. I am getting there, sir. Just you wait. Just you wait, because Gears 5 is what it's what spurred the flames in me to make me come on here today by myself and shit on Xbox. So, to answer Jules' question from earlier, where he said, "Why didn't you just sell it if you didn't play it or you're not enjoying it?" Because I had a friend. That's why. And people can say, "Oh, that's just bullshit," but it's really not. I had a friend who did not want PlayStation. He didn't want it, and he wouldn't get it. And this is one of my closest gaming buddies. He's the reason I went out and spent all that money for an Xbox. And it's not his fault. He just wanted to play games with me. And I appreciate things like that. Trying to keep connection with old friends. Nothing gets better. But basically, if you look at it, Xbox has not accomplished anything this gen, except for in the future, Xbox Game Pass might be their saving grace. Game Pass might be the thing that honestly keeps them afloat until they can buy up more gaming studios to make them some exclusives. Because they really dropped the ball and they missed the whole change of the tide. So, oh boy. Hold on, Guns. I'm not making fun of you, but I'm just going to note it. When your statement popped in and it said, "in my humble opinion," I was like, oh, shit, here we go. But let me actually read the statement and see what's going on. Let's see. Game Pass is way better than PS Now in terms of service. Correct. No argument. None. No argument whatsoever. Xbox Game Pass is probably, now they need to get some more shit on there, which is hard because it's like Netflix in a streaming service. Like, you're sitting there trying to get rights to all these different things and people are like, "Well, I don't want your thing because I got my own thing." It's going to be hard for them. But for right now, Xbox Game Pass may be the saving grace of the Xbox future. Because they picked up some game companies, some game developers, and you can never know what a game developer is going to come out with next. That's just facts. One, they bought Ninja Theory, which made the first game for PlayStation back in PlayStation 3, Heavenly Sword. And I've been a fan of theirs since that game. So that is basically the only studio that they picked up that I can sit back and say, well, damn, I wonder what they're going to do next. It actually intrigues me. Like, that's a studio that has garnered my trust. I don't think I've ever played a game from them that I didn't like. Even that Odyssey to the West game that they put out, which was like the steampunk version of like, you know, Wukong, like the story, the same thing that Dragon Ball is based off of, or at least the designs for Goku in the original Dragon Ball. It's the Monkey King. The way they did that game was great. So, see, and Helgas, we just went over that, but yeah, they need to get their exclusive games up, because as far as I'm concerned, exclusively, they haven't put out anything this gen. I'm sorry. They just haven't, to me. All their games have been flops that have been basically, like, even if they sold well, they had no staying power, and all the people that got them that are super pumped about it left it. Oh, the only games people are talking about is games that they didn't make. That's it. So, meanwhile, Nintendo is doing their thing in the corner and killing it. For those of you who have been here through all the iterations of my podcast, like I used to have the Get Good Gaming podcast, y'all know that I talk a lot, or have talked a lot of shit about Nintendo before the Switch dropped. Did they fix all the problems that I had with Nintendo and the way that they use their brand? No. But they are learning very quickly. Since they got the new head of Nintendo, things have been turning around tremendously for them. And I'm happy for them. Because a lot of people thought I just hated Nintendo. But that's not the thing. I want to see all these companies do good. Why? Because it means that I'm going to have fun. That's the bottom line. If you allow me an iota of escapism and you do your job and entertain me, then we have no problems. I don't have to agree with everything you put out. I don't have to agree with all of your business decisions. But when I see a company doing good, following good practices, and trying to be the best they can be for their consumers and for themselves, because let's not get it wrong. I mean, they're doing it for the money, which is fine. That's what business does. But when people start doing shitty things, shitty business practices, stupid decisions that completely go against the market, if I say they're doing them, or if I see them doing them, I'm going to say it. And if it's something extremely shitty, like, you know, the last 4 years of EA and Activision, I'm going to be upset about it. But I'm not just mad because they do me. I haven't bought another Activision game in a long time. And an EA, nah, dog. I'll know when it's time to go back to a AAA game. Like when it's time to go back to EA or Activision, I'll know when it's time to go back, because it'll be overwhelmingly just it's the big comeback story of the game developer that everyone hated, but now they're for the people. Like that bullshit. So I guess that's because I honestly only meant for this podcast to, be short. I thought I might only be here for like 30 minutes, but we're not done. So yeah, Xbox needs to shore up some shit. But I also think that being that Game Pass and Xbox is basically a digital console now, and I'm not sure if people realize that it happened. It just happened. Like, you saw the steps coming, but it kind of happened overnight, where they had the Game Pass thing going, and it's like, okay, all right. then you can get the Xbox Companion app on your phone. And I'm like, okay, all right. That's very cool. I mean, it's a companion app. What do you want? And then, after I don't mess around with it for a while, but then I, go to my computer and I'm like, hey, they got the Xbox Companion thing for my computer. Let me open that up. And they're like, Game Pass is now on PC. It's in its beta, but Xbox Game Pass is on the PC. And Xbox Gold Ultimate means that when Xbox releases their first party, Chucking Gone Wild, that's we're trying to stay away from that. Not saying I disagree. But so Xbox, they have the companion, then they have the little deal. They're like, look, Xbox Game Pass is on PC now. And I'm like, well, that's interesting. Because being that they're planning on going and releasing all their exclusives through Game Pass, with the Xbox Gold Ultimate switching to a completely subscription-based model, I don't feel bad ways about that just yet. But I'm like, if that's their plan, what's the purpose of buying the next console for Xbox? If you have a PC that you can upgrade, yeah, you might have to upgrade. Every now and again, you gots to. Or not, because PC is so ahead of console. But the point is, I think Xbox just became a purely digital console. And I haven't heard anyone talk about it yet. So I'm a little confused because I'm like, why would I go out and buy Scarlet? Like, now, mind you, there are always going to be people who take the console way, okay? So I get why there's a console being released. Not everybody can go out, even though with the prices for these next consoles, which I would be very wary about until we get some numbers, some real numbers, not guesstimates. Most of these things can be built as a PC for the same price, if not cheaper, than what you're going to be buying in the console version. But sometimes you just want to pick up a game, put it in and play it, and you know that this is why I said console will always exist. Because with a console, what a lot of people don't get when they start talking the PC Master Race thing, and that's not aimed at you, Truckin'. I'm just saying, when people start talking the PC Master Race, they're missing the point. Because it's true. The PC is the master race of gaming. It just is. You can't get better than what you can get on basically a spec'd out PC. You just can't. But the issue is that most people don't want to go through the trouble. They don't want to deal with that. They want to buy one thing, and that one thing, no matter what game they put in that thing, it's going to work. That's all it is. That's all it is. I don't want to, like my friend who just upgraded to PC. He has said the same thing. Like, he just wants to buy the game and know that the game will work at a quality that is fine for him, and that's it. So that's why I say consoles will always be until there's a time where it is just as simple to just turn on a computer that was easily accessible for a price. It will, like console, will eventually evolve into a PC. They pretty much are just PCs in a shell right now, with little things to spec here and there. But yeah, so that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So I think we're going to keep it to an hour. So let's talk about Gears of War. Wait. I guess I should catch up on chat first before I try to dictate where you're going. Oh, Sven, what's going on, my guy? Yeah, I mean, I've seen your pictures on Facebook, but yeah, I've been in the shadows. That's just where I am these days. The shadows. I'm Batman. So let me see here. Trucking Gone Wild. Every quote-unquote new system that comes out costs more, and for spending all that money for the next console plus all the games that only go with that system, here, pay to play online too. You are completely right. The idea that you have to pay a subscription to be online when you already pay for your internet, that's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry. It is. Xbox Live and PlayStation Network, both of them are at fault. You buy the console, I'm sorry. You should be, if you have internet, when you hook up the console, it should hook up to the internet, just like when you buy a phone, okay? I mean, even though phones, you do, I guess, have the data plan, but you could still use Wi-Fi on a phone without a data plan, okay? Is what I'm saying. So, trucking, you good on that. You right. Let's see, I used to only play console, and so glad I made the jump back 3 years ago, to that PC. Did you see the pricing suggestions on the PS5 for what it is? $500 to $800 price point at best guess. That's why I said I'm wary until I hear an official number. Okay? And if they implement it, if y'all haven't seen the clips on my YouTube for tsti.com, is the YouTube channel. Go back and check out what I said the new console UI should be. I also have it posted on Facebook. The new console UI, like, I don't think any of these companies are trying to do anything impressive anymore. And that's talking about all of them, okay? Not just Xbox. We already took 45 minutes and shat on Xbox a whole lot. But let me just go into, let's talk about everybody now. I don't think anybody's trying to impress me. And I feel offended. I'm outraged. No, I'm not. Y'all know me when I get outraged. But I feel like nobody's trying to impress me, and that's a problem. So, like I said, I would say go back, check out the Future of Gaming podcast we did, where we talked about what we would like to see next gen. If anybody implements any of those, I'm okay. I could validate getting a console. But I'm going to tell you right now, with that, what I was saying about Xbox, and now that it's on PC, I will not buy another Xbox console. I will access Game Pass through my PC, most likely at some point. When a game drops that makes me want to, I will do it. But because of what Xbox pulled this gen, literally offering nothing of note. Okay, we're back on bashing Xbox. I'm sorry. God damn it. But they did. They literally put out nothing of note. Nothing from Xbox. Like from actual Xbox, from Microsoft Studios. Nothing has been put out of note that carried any type of weight within the entire generation. It's if the console didn't exist, you would not have missed anything. That's a problem. So like I said, these consoles need to start trying to impress me. Who am I? Nobody. But when I say me, I mean all of us. All of us. Because I'm sorry, but if you got all this money, what the fuck are you doing with it? These are multi-million, billion-dollar companies, whether you're talking about Microsoft or you're talking about an actual game publisher. These dudes have millions and billions of dollars, and nobody's trying to actually impress us with what's coming, except for, I'm sorry, but the games that's the game devs that Sony bought and that have basically riddled this entire generation with great games back to back. Whether you want to go from Horizon Zero Dawn to an Uncharted to I mean, shit. We all know. I mean, even shit. Sony just bought the Spider-Man publisher, the Spider-Man PS4, which is one of the greatest games ever. God of War, the Santa Monica Studios. I mean, they killed it. They killed it. Every couple of months. I mean, if you weren't paying attention to smaller games, which pay attention to smaller indie games, they're important. But every couple of months, you had that thing. You had that thing with PlayStation where you could be like, that's going to be the next experience. I haven't played Days Gone yet, Jason, so I didn't want to talk about, or I didn't want to put it up there with the greats that PlayStation has put out. But bottom line, PlayStation killed it this gen. They killed it. And I don't care which one you think is better. You have to admit, just think about it in the big scale. Think about it. Xbox One as a console sucked. And I know this is going to come off sounding real bad, but those are facts. The console could have literally not existed and you would not have missed anything. That's... So anyway. So let's get to the last little segment. The last little segment we're going to do is Gears of War. Now, Gears of War, here's the review. If you liked Gears of War, you're going to like Gears of War. Done. Okay? That's it. If you like Gears of War, it is basically the MMA meathead fan of video games. That doesn't mean it's not fun. Meatheads can be fun. Okay? Let's not take it out of context here. But it is basically the meathead game of Xbox. And if you like it, everything you liked about it is there. Everything that you disliked about it is still there. And the reason you see this GIF going over and over again, it's because this is something that I loathe. It's a mechanic, and I say it's a mechanic because apparently if you call it what it is, which is absolute shit and people taking advantage of the controls of a game, i.e. finding strategy in breaking a game, what you're seeing in this image is wall bouncing. If you can't tell what's happening, that's because it's wall bouncing. Basically, what you're looking at is somebody basically attaching themselves to a wall over and over again in a zigzag. But they do it so fast that they never actually hit the wall. So you're stuck trying to shoot somebody who's moving like Barry Allen with track shoes on down a hallway, and he's a blur. He's a blur, just whipping back and forth down the hallway towards you with a shotgun. And no matter how much you try to shoot the motherfucker, you can't, because he's literally stuck almost, it seems. I'm not saying, now this is stretching it, but it seems that he's stuck in an infinity frame that is just, you can't kill the motherfucker. Like, people would say, well, if they're moving back and forth and they're just coming down the hallway, then they're coming down the middle of the hallway. You can shoot them and shoot straight and you'll kill them. That does not work. I'm sorry. But let's get to where we're really going with Gears of War 5. Now, this is not the same friend that I brought up earlier. This is a different friend who played Gears of War to a point of fanaticism. And I'm kidding you not, okay? I'm kidding you not. I wish to God I still had the picture of the screen. But the friend that asked, are we going to do this? Are we going to play this Gears of War? And I was like, you know what? My Xbox is once again sitting beside my, my shelves doing nothing. Yeah, you know what? Let's get the boys back together. Let's get the boys back together and let's play some Gears of War. Do I love Gears of War like that? No, I do not, okay? It's okay. I've enjoyed all the campaigns. That's my summation of Gears of War. So, I'm like, yeah, let's get it. So I hook back up my Xbox. It still works perfectly. I'm like, you know what? This is it. We got it, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to do it. We all get the game preloaded. We get Game Pass. We're like, yo, we're going to do this. As soon as the game drops, we're going to knock out the whole campaign. Everything's good. We turn on the Xbox. We fucking load up Gears of War. And the servers are all broken. We can't stay in a team for more than 30 seconds. And if you try to play multiplayer, you get kicked out of every single game you try to join. Server issues. Again. So, Cheshire Slim joining us in Facebook. What's going on, my guy? Good to see you. Good to see you. And Kent, you're correct. I have been had yet again. And you notice that the it's always the same. So, and I tell y'all all the time, I'm crazy. Okay, I'm crazy. I accept it. I'm a loon. But I do it because I want for my friends. I do it for my friends. My friends are like, hey, let's do this. And I'm like, well, it's been 4 years. Microsoft, they can't still be bad, can they? They have to be able to release the biggest flagship title of their entire consoles generation. They have to be able to release it without a problem, right? Wrong. I'm wrong. I'm a dummy. I'm a dumbass dummy. Real talk. Dumbass dummy right here. That's just what it's what it is. I'm a fucking moron. Because I keep thinking that anything in this place is based on logic and rational thought. I'm a fucking idiot. So, basically, I need to ask one question. And if we have any game developers around here, anybody who's been in the field, this is what I don't get about this, the system, the servers, the game, blah, 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 blah. Let me tell you, there's no big changes, okay? Gears of War 5 is basically Gears of War 4. They didn't reinvent the wheel in any way, shape, or form in any piece of the game. How can a game be made in 2019 and you still have the same server problems that you had in 2007? Like, for a while. And I mean, you still hear people say this shit. You still hear people say, like, well, first day, the first week, first month, it's going to be rough. But why? It's the same type of system. It's the same multiplayer system you've created for multiple games. You haven't changed anything. Why can you still not? Oh, we've had an influx of people in the system. You're a flagship title. You are one of the big. You are Xbox. Gears of War and Halo are Xbox. That's it. How in the hell can you not expect that when people have owned your system for 5 years now with 0 fucking games, how can you not think that your flagship title won't cause an influx and that you won't have that shit set up prior? How? How can you be surprised? Let me put it like this. What's the install base, or what's the Xbox console market? Like, how many people bought your console? Be prepared for at least 70 to 80% of that amount of people to be on the damn game. You buy Xbox for Halo, for Gears. Everything else you get is a plus. But how in the hell do you not expect your numbers to go up? How can your system be crashing because the volume's heavy? Nigga, we all knew the volume was going to be heavy. Who didn't expect it to be heavy? I don't even like the game that damn much, and I knew that the volume was going to be heavy because you basically told people to be excited about one of the only games you've offered this entire console generation. I don't get it. Let me catch up on chat here. I know I've been ranting and raving for a minute, but this is like the last thing that I'm going to be talking about on today's podcast. I said it would be a short one, but I want to go back and forth with chat for a little while because I've been ranting. Your boy out here singing Gangsta's Paradise in a dark room, mist all on his brow. Look at this shit. Anyway, let's see what's going on here. Sven, I think they release most games too early. These developers for the games, along with Microsoft, never take the time to iron out all the small details, which can cause big problems. That must be something that's happening, Sven. I mean, yeah. All you have to do is look at damn near every game that isn't that isn't a PlayStation exclusive that's dropped in the last 5 years. Unless you have a game developer that actually takes pride in what they do, i.e. Larian Games, CD Projekt Red, Santa Monica Studios, like unless you have one of those teams that is just like, man, this game's coming out forever. When y'all gonna put it out? We're gonna put it out when it's ready. Unless you have a team like that, your game's gonna be shit. So let's see. It's all about getting that money early and quicker. Yep, and that's why I don't buy games from these people anymore. I'm going to tell y'all right now, the only reason I'm playing Gears is because I looked and I saw that Xbox had that deal for Xbox Live Gold Ultimate where you pay $2 and you get 2 months of live and access to Game Pass. Why not? Why wouldn't you? $2 to play a brand new game instead of paying $60 for it? Okay, I'm in. I will admit that even with the systems broken, I've gotten $2 worth. Oh my God, Sven! Sven, you gonna come up in here talking about some Forza? I for the life of me, every time they do E3. And Xbox comes up with Forza, I literally scream at the TV, who the fuck is playing this game? I'm sorry. Like, I do to an extent get it. If you're a car head, you're a motor boy, okay? You like the simulation and the feel of dealing with cars. I'm like, okay. But I, for the life of me, cannot understand how Forza became a flagship title for the Xbox. Like, how does it sell? I don't get it. I really don't. I'm like, yo, I get that there was a market for this. There was like Gran Turismo for PlayStation, and there was Forza for Xbox. All right. But what in the fuck? Like, every time, like, if you notice, and they'll do it next E3, so I hope you remember what I say. I might even live stream it so we can roll our eyes together. But every time they start talking about Forza, you see about 80% of the crowd roll their eyes hard. Like, ugh. They be all mad. And I'm like, they feel how I feel. So why is this game always getting pushed so hard? I don't get it. I don't get it. Fucking Forza. That game pisses me off by existing. I don't know why. It's unreasonable. I am in no way correct for feeling this way. But that Forza just, it really does my nut in. I'm sorry. It just does. So, let's see. Kent says, I think it's because car games look good in demos. See, they do. You're right. They do. But they look good in demos, but especially super realistic games, that's a real niche market. Like, it's kind of like how, I don't know, well, not exactly like that. But I don't know, I feel like when you make certain games too realistic, they lose the appeal. It's kind of like why Burnout has like a huge following, even though that shit is ridiculously unrealistic. It's just like, it's ridiculously unrealistic, and that's what people like. The crazy crashes, the things that make it a game. And when you try to make things super real, a lot of times they don't work. People get bored with the mechanics of it. Proper Slack jumped in. What's going on, my dude? He says, Forza, in a nutshell, does more rage than FIFA would ever do. Does more rage? What do you mean does more rage? Expand on that, why don't you? I'm willing to listen. So, does more rage. God damn. Maybe, you know what? Maybe Forza is the game that I just should have always been playing. It does more rage, as in does more rage. You know what? I like that. I can't English, all right? Proper Slack, you are always appreciated, and you gave me quite a good laugh. So I say it was worth 2 a.m. Yikes. I don't know. So anyway, what we've gone over today, the ultimate of everything, what we've gone over today. And yes, Gears of War is still broken. Charles Parker says, what was that joint that we used to play? I don't know. Oh yeah, the servers and everything are down on it. You get kicked from multiplayer games. You get kicked out of social parties when you're playing the co-op together, the campaign. The thing just kicks you out of the whole game and shuts down your Xbox. All that shit is happening. So, look, it's just mad busted. You know, I think your definition of mad busted and my definition of broken are actually the same. So I will agree with you, Proper Slack. I'm not sure. Cheshire Slim. I'm not. What was the game? Was it a shooter? Was it an adventure game? What were we doing? What were we doing? It's relatively close. Indeed. So, I'm just saying, if you're not bringing anything new to the game, Gears 5 more like Minecraft 2. God damn. See, he coming in being way harsher than I was. But I just don't understand. You've been making multiplayer for how many years now? You've been dealing with the net for how many years now? We've had friends list for 2 or 3 generations. Everything on your console works off of the servers. And you still can't launch a game where the server doesn't crash immediately. It's a bunch of hogwash, is what I'm telling you. It's a bunch of tomfoolery. Let me see. It's because Gears 5 is their second Gears genre on PC. Console, I don't know. Console is ass. Xbox, go buy a real console. Hey, he's coming in here just letting it loose. I ain't hating him. I agree with him. Like I said, Xbox as a console this gen, it could have not existed and you wouldn't have missed anything. Therefore, I'm sorry, it's just a worthless console. If you can't admit it, one, either you're not really into gaming, or you are determined to defend what you spent your money on. And I understand that feeling. It's, like certain people voting for a certain somebody and won't admit that the country's burning. But the point is, it's Xbox 360 was great. Like I said, it's not about hating Microsoft. It's not about hating Xbox. PS3 was fucked. Xbox 360 killed it. Xbox One made the mistakes of Xbox 3 Xbox One made the same mistake as PS3 trying to be more than just a game console, but a media center. And they fucked it all up. They didn't focus on the things that they were in every position to focus on. Why is PlayStation buying more game developers than Microsoft? It doesn't make any sense. So, proper slack. Coming in hot, ladies and gentlemen. So, that's all I'm saying. I think if you've come in late and you haven't gotten the full spectrum of, you think I'm just sitting here hating on Xbox, that's not what's happening. I'm just shooting it straight. Xbox One is garbage. That's just the bottom line. I'm sorry. They don't have any games. And if you had another console, you would have basically been able to enjoy the same games that you might say, well, hey, I enjoy playing it on Xbox. Yeah, but you're not getting a different experience. You're just stuck with the one you have. That's it. Wait a minute, what's this? Proper's like, blows more PP than a red light district worker in Amsterdam. Yikes! Proper slack. Okay, I'm going back to my awkward corner. Be right back. I appreciated you, my sir. I appreciated you. So, that's, like I said, to me, that's just the facts of the situation. And I hope, because like I said, when they do better, we do better as consumers. So I hope that Xbox is really, really focusing and gearing up for the new gen. I'll be experiencing whatever they do on the new gen on my PC, because like I said, they kind of snuck that digital console right onto the PC without anyone really talking about it. But keep an eye on Game Pass, because that is the only thing that is set up to actually be the future of Xbox. And now that it's on PC and you don't really have to own an Xbox anymore, I expect a lot of people to go that route instead of shoving out however much money they're going to ask for with these new consoles. So, yeah. But let me just say, because, like I said, I've been looking at this. I've been keeping my rage elevated by looking at this wall bouncing going on in this picture beside me while I've been talking. That's how I fuel the anger. But yeah, that's the end. That's the end. We can kill the music now. There we go. We killed the music. We killed it. we're done with our rage session. I just really needed to get off my chest how unhappy this console has made me this gen. And, that's it. That's it. Like my co-host Deadpool, who's usually here with me, he had to take care of some actual life shit. So I was like, yeah, man, don't worry about being on the podcast. I got this one because I'm gonna be real salty and whatever. I was willing to jump on and talk about this ad nauseum because of my recent interactions with Gears 5 and just how every time I turn on my Xbox, I'm let down. And I don't want to be let down. I don't want to be, okay? I want my Xbox to not be a $550 investment that didn't pan out, okay? I don't want that to be the legacy of my wallet or that console. That's just the game. That's just how I feel. But thank you, Kent. I really do appreciate it, man. I really do. Truckin', he says, all right, I'm back, and with a fresh BLT sandwich, we're shutting it down, my guy. We're shutting it down. We're shaking it. But I appreciate everybody showing up. I appreciate everybody that joined on Facebook. Cheshire Slim, Mr. Olson, and Jason. Thank you for coming through, including the people who are on YouTube watching right now. I love you all. Stay classy. And, of course, my regulars, my beautiful, beautiful regulars that come to Twitch to watch a random crazy black man talk about a bunch of shit because he's a nobody and, just has a lot of rage to get off of his chest. I am a little sorry that you didn't have that counterbalance of my co-host to be positive and chipper today, but I hope you all enjoyed it. I do. I hope you all enjoyed the podcast, my solo rant session. Take care and keep those lips soft, you sexy beast. Holy shit. I'm going to have to start licking my lips like LL Cool J around here. All right. Yeah, girl. Yeah. So, that's all there is for the podcast. I appreciate everybody for coming through and really showing love. I appreciate it. So, that's all, folks. Later.
I mean, what is this? Ninjas, drug pushers, my men being kidnapped and murdered? This is really beginning to get on my tits.